Guys, what's up? Welcome back to Stormworks. In this one, we are going to start working on the other side of our PvP map. So we're back here in the hangar, and we're just going to start getting right into the building. This time, we are going to start working on the other team's spawn. So in the last episode, we worked on the A team spawn. This is the B team spawn, and I'm going to kind of just start it off here with a nice little ramp. I want them to kind of slow down a little bit on this side of the map. So that's kind of what we're working on here. I'm going to add kind of a forced path that they have to take, basically. And this will slow them down to make it a little bit more competitive. But we'll kind of get into all that kind of stuff a little bit later in the episode. For now, I just want to say, if you like this series, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. I have some pretty fun gameplay videos of this that you guys will get to see in a little bit here. And then eventually we will kind of get this, obviously, onto the workshop. And I would love to see all of you guys kind of play around with it too. So good place to do that is on our Discord. Check out our Discord. I'm probably going to have some people on once this is on the workshop, obviously. I'm probably going to have some people on some Stormworks servers so we can play around with it a little bit, and hopefully we can make some gameplay videos of that too. But yeah, for now, I'm going to just get right into the building, and we will talk a little bit more. All right, so we got a little bit of building done. And what I'm kind of working on here is, I mentioned in the beginning of the episode, I have that ramp that's headed up, and it's going to be kind of like a hallway that you have to take. So the reason I'm doing that is I want to slow this team down a little bit, and that is so the other team has time to get into a more defensive position, if that makes sense. So the goal with this really is I'm going to try to make a long kind of pathway that has spotted coverage, not full cover and all that, but it's basically going to lead up to this platform here, and that's going to be really where a lot of the B team is going to spread out. So what I'm doing here is this is just going to be a nice little pathway that's going to lead down into like a courtyard over here. We'll add some trees later and whatnot, and right at the end of that platform, kind of where it tees off, we're going to put a big building, a 3-story building, and that is where I'm going to put like a lot of windows, and it's basically going to be a good tower to kind of overlook the whole map. But on the top floor, there's also going to be a mounted machine gun, and that is going to, again, kind of just be for gameplay purposes. It's nothing too crazy, too fun. One thing I will say to note is if you do play this with infinite ammo on, it might become a little bit cheaty because obviously you don't have to reload the gun. But again, how I'm going to try to, I keep trying to think of how to balance this. So one of the ways we're going to do that is there's going to be a ladder to get up there, but there's going to be 2 different ladders you have to take. So it's going to get you, one ladder is going to get you up to the 2nd floor, and then from the 2nd floor, you're going to have to get onto a different ladder. So that is kind of just another way to slow this team down a little bit. And again, I'm doing that for the gameplay purposes. If it wouldn't be very fun if the B team could get over to the bomb site quicker than the A team. And for that reason, I need to find a way to slow them down. So that's kind of what we're doing. And then, while we're talking about the map in a general sense, to the right of this building, when you come down this long walkway, is going to be a kind of a bigger building that you can walk through. I'm going to put a tractor and whatnot, but it's going to be kind of really inspired. I know we keep mentioning Counter-Strike and Call of Duty. It's going to be kind of inspired by the B tunnels on Dust 2 in Counter-Strike. So there's going to be this really long tunnel that you have to walk through. And that is, again, to kind of make it a little bit more balanced for the A team. The whole reason I'm thinking about a lot of this is just because, it's one thing to make a map, but it's also another thing to kind of make the map fun to play. And if there's a clear advantage to one side, it's not going to be as fun to play. So that's something that I'm kind of trying to take a lot of consideration into. And so, I mentioned last episode, we're going to do a lot of building, and then we can kind of talk about this more. Now that the map is getting fleshed out a little bit more, we can kind of think about this stuff. The last episode really was just about kind of getting some buildings down and, just starting to fill the map up a little bit. In this episode, we're kind of doing a little bit more of the same thing, but obviously there's a little bit more thought into what's going on here. And that is, again, just to kind of make it a little bit more even, a little bit more challenging for both teams. So you'll kind of notice, too, that the bomb site isn't exactly in the center of the map. And the reason I'm doing that as well is because it kind of makes both teams go a little bit further away from where they spawn. It makes the players spread out a little bit more. And that was another really important thing to kind of add to the game. I didn't want people to kind of just be able to just beeline it straight to the site. And then, obviously that makes the rounds really, really short. So another thing I'm kind of trying to consider is how do we lengthen the rounds and slow down the pace of the game a little bit. And that's what we're going to do a lot more in this episode. So you'll notice that we're going to be doing a lot more kind of obstacles and that kind of thing. Right now I'm working on that tower we mentioned earlier, and I'm just kind of adding some generic detailing. Like I mentioned in last episode, these buildings aren't going to be really, really detailed. I want to make sure you guys have a pretty good frame rate. And that's kind of why I'm, kind of just using the big blocks, and I'm not going to use too much paint and I'm not going to detail the inside of them too much. But that's, again, just because I want you guys to have frame rate. And then also I personally would think it's very annoying if you're inside a building and there's just junk everywhere that you keep getting stuck on. Movement in Stormworks is not necessarily the best. So that's another thing I'm kind of trying to combat, is I'm trying to make a lot of these doorways large enough to kind of fit in, and the cover large enough to kind of look around, but also not really being in the way. So we got this tower going. I'm just going to add some lights, and then later on I'm going to add actually a little bit of some tunnels under the platform behind it, and you guys will get to see a little bit of that too. But I'm going to let the time lapse roll just a little bit more, and then we'll cut in and we'll talk a lot more about kind of the stuff that we've done today. All right, well, we got some detailing done up, and you guys saw that I play tested it a little bit. So I like to hop in the map every now and then once I add a new building, and the reason I'm doing that is I want to check a lot of the angles you can hold, as well as it kind of gives me a good idea for what I want to place in the middle later on. So right here, you guys saw I added this kind of billboard thing. It was going to be a billboard, but I just painted it like a flag because I didn't want to mess around with paint blocks and stuff. But that is to kind of just give this team some cover when they're coming out of their spawn, so they don't just get picked off immediately. So again, that's kind of a pretty important part of this map, is I want to slow down that team as they come out of the map. And, you know, that walkway is really important, but at the same time, I don't want you to just instantly die as soon as you come out and show your face. So that's kind of the point of that. There's some holes in the billboard so you can look through. It's pretty covered. There's a box too. But right here, I'm just going to start adding some trees. And later on, we're going to make these trees actually destructible, which is just going to be like kind of a fun little part of this map. I'm going to make it so the treetops actually, you can just shoot them right off, and they kind of go all over the place and whatnot. But right here, down in the courtyard, I decided this would be another kind of easy way to add some more cover. So we're going to just kind of place some props around real quick. I'm going to add some boxes and some barrels and that kind of thing. I think that, again, that's kind of an easy way to just kind of detail the map up, add a little bit of cover. And right here, we're going to get into a little tunnel underneath. So this tunnel is going to allow you to go under the platform to the other side. And, you know, we talked earlier about there being a building there. And so we'll get into that in a later episode. But for now, I'm just going to hop out here and kind of check it out quick. I added some lights to the billboard because I want this to be able to be playable during any time of the day. So if you guys want to play at night, you can do that. And right here, I'm just seeing if you can shoot through that. It looks like you can't. But yeah, I think it's coming along nicely. And you'll see we're going to kind of do something fun down here. There's going to be a secret little tunnel that you can kind of access both sides, as well as there's going to be a little IED that you can move around, and it's going to be remote controlled. So that's something we'll add later, but this is just another little path that I wanted to add to the map. And this way you can kind of get from the left side of that courtyard to this bigger building over here without really being seen too much. And this just gives the players a little bit more freedom to kind of move around. And I think that that's also a pretty important part of this map. Is I don't want you guys to just have one specific way to get everywhere. I want there to be a bunch of different ways you can get different places. So here we are. We're going to add this ramp that brings you back down onto the ground level. And then, like I said, this is going to feed into a pretty large building. It'll have a courtyard in the back, and then there will be this pretty big long tunnel that you guys can run through. So probably not necessarily the safest option to go through, but if you all just want to rush through there together as a team, it might be pretty fun. So I'm going to add a little bit of kind of details and props up around on this platform just to kind of add some cover. I want to keep a lot of the angles not necessarily super long in this map. And we're doing that just, again, so you guys can kind of stay alive longer, and it kind of lengthens the match a little bit. So that's kind of what we got in store for today. And, I'm going to do a little bit more detailing and whatnot. But I guess before we close the video out, for those of you still watching, first of all, thank you. I really appreciate it. It helps our channel out quite a bit. But probably a good time, I want to mention some upcoming projects. So I know we have the land crawler going on, and a little bit of slow progress with that one, I will admit. But, I've been working on something pretty big in the background, and I think you guys will like it. So if you guys are excited, I will have a new build coming out relatively soon, not super soon, but relatively soon. And it's going to actually be an oil rig, a mobile oil rig. So it's going to be a floating oil platform. And the cool thing about that is I'm going to make it one button to drill. So you guys won't need to know how to drill for oil. It'll do it for you. Been a lot of logic, a lot of detailing, that kind of thing. But it's going to be basically an all-in-one. So it'll be mobile. It'll also be a refinery, and it will drill for itself. One of my mods, Jack, actually created a really cool kind of cargo container that lets you reload the oil rods. And, you guys will kind of get all that to see all that soon enough. But yeah, I think that's something you can kind of look forward to. As far as this episode, this building, this is about all the building we're going to get done in today's episode. So again, if you made it to the end, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And, definitely stick around. I will get this posted to the workshop pretty soon. I'm going to shoot for in the next week or so. We're going to get this on the workshop. I just got to edit some of the gameplay videos. But yeah, guys, if you made it to the end, again, thank you. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Check out our Discord if you haven't. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.